Okay, so want to do another little video here on dismantling narcissism and talking about narcissism, narcissistic people, some of the problems that they're going through, and some of the psychopaths. That once they act out on that, once they have trespassed, psychological problems become um, psychological actions, and psychopaths are born. And so you want to try to nip a lot of this stuff in the bud, so to speak, with your relationships, and start to realize that there's not an answer to narcissism in society today. Okay, some of these people, they do not have rules. There's not a police force you can call for narcissism. You're just going to have to deal with it. You're going to have to avoid these people. You're going to have to figure out how to battle this. Okay, you may be able to coach a narcissist. You may be able to bring them back into reality. You may be able to bring them in back in from an unhealthy, toxic environment. Maybe them to practice, humility, positive things, this and that. But 9 times out of 10, don't even pretend. You're gonna have to run. Okay, you're gonna have to run. You're gonna have to keep these people away from you, your dreams, your goals, ambitions, and not tell anybody your dreams and your goals and your ambitions, because you got to realize that they're nothing but pieces of garbage themselves, and they will only try to sabotage that. They're only going to try to chase your clout. They're only going to try to use you, and nothing good can come from trying to be their friend. Okay, they're not your friends. They're not your acquaintances even. They have psychological problems and sicknesses. Okay, so the quicker that you can get at identifying that, the better you will be at life. That's one thing I can guarantee and promise. Okay, so you get quicker and the better at identifying that. Okay, so the narcissist, firstly wanting to seek attention. The next, they start to get into playing a psychological game. Okay, so playing a psychological game, in a previous video, one of the ways they might ask an incriminating question, might be one, because they try to get a bad answer and then they spin it that you did something wrong, or there's something wrong with you, or about you. And so the spin, they were the antagonist, so they are the one who started, and they asked a question that didn't have a right answer. Okay, it never had a right answer in the first place. Okay, so but you even acknowledging that and acknowledging them, and you could have just take off running right then. You could just take off running. You could have just ignored their question. You didn't have to answer it. You didn't have to tell them the truth. Man, they took the truth and they spun it, and they took a sound bite out of it, and then they said, then they use a narcissist phrase. So what you're saying is this? No, okay. You're going to be in way too deep a water too fast with these people to even understand what's going on. Okay, but if you can start to hear some of these phrases, start to hear some of these, identify some of these people as narcissists, by their tendencies, their actions, the phrases that they use, the Freudism. Okay, I'm gonna do another one on Freudism. So that being a phrase, an agenda, or something that's actually embedded in somebody's verbiage. Okay, and so and then deciphering that by somebody's actions and taking that into actions and go, well, they told you about it right here. They said that exactly. So, well, I'm gonna do another one on that one later, but so some of the psychological games that they start to play. So they have the antagonist, so they're gonna cause a problem, and then that could go into a next phrase, or however they go about delivering the problem, and steps. But then the trap is set. Okay, and so sometimes that trap might be a guilt trip. Okay, so it's a guilt trap. They wanted you to feel guilty for something that they caused. Okay, so that's the psychological game, is that they caused the problem in the first place, and then they're spinning it so that you feel guilty for it. So it's your fault, and they caused the problem in the first place. Whoa. Okay, so how can that even be possible? I mean, it's kind of like you start playing which came first, the chicken or the egg type of deal. You know what I mean? And they start spinning things in different ways and acting like you should feel guilty. Okay, for something is like it's almost a surrender. Okay, if that means anything to these people, okay, you feeling the guilt that they caused, it really gets them off there. Like they're cracking and laughing up, and then they'll start bragging, hey, to somebody else. Hey, man, I really got off, and it was so funny, laughing and lying and telling lies and making up lies on themselves about all this and that, and then they were able to um, asking some incriminating questions that they're only going to use against you, and then they spun it and made you feel guilty about it. Wow, man, I really just, they got their psychological rocks off. They were able to use you for a little bit as a joke, and then they spun it and got you in trouble, and then they spun it, and then you actually apologized and said you were sorry. Paha, it's so fun. It's so fun. Hey, won't you be like me, and we can all have fun, and then we can gaslight. Do you have a life? No. Me either. Let's gaslight. All right. Well, wow. And if you find yourself ever anywhere near that situation, you're gonna have to stay far, 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 far away, because that's and admitting a guilt at all is only a surrender for this narcissist. Okay, so they may they may try to spin it that you're incapable of feeling guilty or something that's not even relevant. Okay, but that them getting an admission of guilt for something, maybe a starter. Them, and then trying to get you to admit to feeling guilty for something that you're not even responsible for. It could be something that was irrelevant. It's not going to change. It's not gonna. It's something that was standing. It was lasting in time. That neither one of you people could change. That happened before you were born. Before it was previously existing, and they already know this. Okay, because it's a trap. It's a psychological trap they set for you to feel guilty into it. It's called a guilt trip. Okay, and so they just pulled a guilt trip on you. Okay, so they pulled a guilt trip on you to make you feel guilty about something, and somehow they were able to gain energy from this. They were able to gain attention from this, and for you going to putting you some type of loop, psychologically playing these games, answering some incriminating questions, and they spun it. Okay, ha ha ha! You're a little game, and they're playing with your life. And if they were able to get a gaslight or something to laugh, and to get their rocks off too with that, what I'm saying, it's that could be really really detrimental, what I'm saying, because then next thing these people do, and if they trespass in your life that far, what I'm saying, is that they could tell lies. Okay, they could probably get somebody else to tell a lie, which ultimately detective, and you do enough question answering, all the lies will come out and they'll be exposed. But who's got time for all that? you know if you can, and if I could just save you some time by identifying some of these people in these narcissistic phrases and actions, and start to realize that they're just playing a game. Not playing the game is a whole nother story, okay? Because sometimes it could just be them asking you an incriminating question that they're going to try to use against you, but you didn't answer it because or answering it maybe in a positive way, like something like that, and it may frustrate them because they didn't already get any dirt on you. And I've seen people, maybe do this in different types of so somebody who in the media who would do this, maybe what's called a ruck maker, okay? And ruck maker could exist in somebody else's but they're playing a psychological game or asking incriminating questions just to spin it in a negative aspect for their own personal enjoyment. To maybe say that they had to paint you in a negative aspect or something like this. You know what I'm saying? And so you don't want to be a victim of these psychological games. Okay, so you really can't acknowledge that or even talk about it. Okay, so even talking about them, although you may want to, and you may have all these answers and be able to tell this and that, it's only going to get spun negatively. They're only going to take your words and twist them, shift them. And the thing about it is that it may be the truth. Some people, they're not going to like the truth. They're not going to want to hear the truth. They're going to maybe want to attack you for the truth. Okay? And, that just being a fact in life. There's not a police you can call. You're going to have to call the police and call the narcissist police. You're just going to have to either deal with it or realize that these people are not your friends. They're not your family. They're not. They have no goals or agendas that's going to be positive for you, and so being around them is unbeneficial. And nothing good will come from even talking to them. Nothing good will come from playing these psychological games. Well, there's not a win for you. It's only going to be a win for them. It's only going to be a loss for you. Okay, so even talking to them is a loss. Well, that's a lot to deal with, you know what I'm saying? And so maybe I can just save you a little bit of time, you know what I'm saying? And if you're just at the guilt trip phase, you know what I'm saying? It may just be, save you some time and just going, hey, okay, whatever. But them setting a trap for you to feel guilty for something that they created in the first place is one of these psychological games that the narcissists they do for attention. And the quicker and faster that you can identify that, the amount of time that you can save in your whole life, it's a lot. It probably you probably would thank me. And that's probably what my only want or motivation as far as doing this was to maybe dismantle narcissism. Was like what I want to end up titling some of these videos. You know what I'm saying? But how to dismantle it? And not play these games with these psychos and sickos. Okay, so we'll wrap this one up later.